What is up, guys? Flossy Missiles here. In today's video, we're finally starting on the Subaru swap. So this is my 84 Westfalia. Taking it up north and a few little trips in it. This thing's great. Love this van. I love the color of it. I love the originality of this thing. It was a gem. I don't know if you saw, I got it about a year ago, and when we were towing it home, on the way home, the wheel snapped off. It's been a fun van. Anyways, that's the motor that's going to go in it. That's from this is from a 98 Subaru. That Subaru right there I got for 500 bucks. And then I decked it all out with KP cross member, the adapter plate, the stage 1 clutch. I followed Buster's instruction on how to flip this around, and done a few little mods that I had to put a cam in it, some rocker arms, that kind of stuff. It has a Rocky Mountain Westie shortened oil pan that holds 4.5 quarts. It's got this Van Cafe heat shield for the timing cover, and she's ready to go. I put some new seals on it, and hopefully everything's all Gucci. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is jack this van up and start yanking the engine out. A lot of stuff is not gonna be used, so a lot of this stuff can go, the coil, this, ECU, obviously some of these lines are gonna be rerouted, and the heat shields and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of a tight clearance in here because my roof is like, you know, a foot and a half away or whatever, and there's not that much ground clearance. But I got this thing, hopefully I can use it. I've used it around the shop just for little stuff here and there. It's one of those tables that you can jack up, and it works great, honestly. So yeah, also I'm gonna be building my own exhaust because not a lot of people, not even KP, sells the single port exhaust for the Subaru to Vanagon swaps, and so I'm gonna be building my own exhaust. So I got some flex joints and got some other stuff also for my intakes. I ordered some pieces off Amazon, and also check out this gangster starter I got a high torque starter. So yeah, I got a lot of parts getting ready to be thrown on this thing. I'm super excited. I've been grinding away on it for about the past half hour now, and I got mostly everything unhooked. These coolant lines are a little crusty right here, if you can see that. All that rust falling off. But they should clean up all right, good enough at least. And all the vacuum hoses unhooked. All the electrical, these fuel injector ones are a pain in the butt to get off. But all the wires should be unhooked. The only thing holding this engine in right now is the mustache bar, which is 2 bolts on this side, 2 bolts on that side, and then the 4 bolts holding the transmission to the motor. And so after that, it should be able just to fall right out the bottom. Yeah, so here's the fuel lines, fuel line, water hoses, a bunch. There's like 4 connections, 4 water hose lines right there. You gotta take out this water tank right here. There's 4 or 6 bolts on the bottom of this heat shield. And yeah, there's a couple bolts for on the other side of the heat shield. It's all basic stuff. It shouldn't take too long to get it out. And yeah, these Volkswagen motors, there's not that much to them. I mean, the connectors can get annoying because of that way that clip style is, but I also got to remove this stuff, but that's not until the motor's out. I lowered the engine down on this thing right here, but I think it's going to be too tall to pull out unless I can get this thing up a few more inches. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how easy it separates. It looks like it already separated about an inch right there, so get you guys a top view. We'll yank on this thing. Boom shakalak. Sorry I was in the way for that, but I just had to yank on it from the right here. But yeah, we're separated. So that wasn't too bad at all. It wasn't stuck or anything weird like that. I was able to sneak it out the side. Hopefully, I'm gonna measure that and see if I'll be able to put that on here and get it under the same way. I just came out right through the passenger side, like right behind the tire. But there it is. Empty engine bay. I got the transmission just sitting on a jack stand to support it. Here's a quick little tip when you're putting the axles in. To clean on a Vanagon, make sure you clean up the inside of this trailing arm. This is all grease I've just broken up with that screwdriver right there. But yeah, because inevitably when you're trying to get it all lined up and you set it down, you're gonna set it down in a bunch of old grease and a bunch of old dirt. So do yourself a favor and clean that up. Look at this junk. I didn't film this part, but they are both in torqued 40 foot-pounds a piece. I think it's 36 or 40. I just put them at 40. This is literally one of the worst jobs I feel like is putting axles in a van or a bus, whatever. This job and then doing a gas tank where you drop the gas tank and replace it or do whatever, those are my 2 least favorite jobs. Gas tanks and axles on Vanagons are the worst. The old 1.9 starter is out. And this is that Wasp high torque starter I'm going to be installing. I got this one from KEP when I bought the kit. And it's a nice looking unit for sure. Hopefully everything goes right in. I don't see why it wouldn't. I think it should just slide right in to place. And then we'll have a high torque starter for the Subie motor. What a nice looking starter on that thing. Wow. The tricky part about getting any engine in a van, the transmission already in it, is trying to get the angles both the same. So see how it's like a really downward angle? Trying to match that with the motor and get it all slid in. Right now it looks like I'll barely, I don't know. Yeah, it's like I barely have enough room. Alright, I'll probably get a jack underneath the transmission and try to line these up smoothly, or the same angle as each other, and try to slide them on. But we'll definitely keep you guys updated. We've got all the holes to line up as far as the studs, but it's not all the way pushed in yet. We're still trying to wiggle it in. It'd be nice if I had more room, but I don't have more room, so we're just doing the best we can to get this motor in. It should go in a little more finessing. Things didn't quite go as planned. I had to remove the little hydraulic table and bring back the cherry picker, but we got it in that way. Between me and Allie, it took us about 45 minutes to get her in there. And also we got a jack on the transmission. Hands are disgusting. But yeah, it is in now. Also, we took the cross member off because it was just hard to, it made one more little obstacle, so we took that off. But I'm about to throw that cross member back on and drill some holes and get it hard mounted since it's mounted to the tranny. The Subaru motor is in. One thing I really should have done before I put the motor in was bent these cooling lines to go more towards the starter, so like bent them like right up against the adapter plate pretty much, because it's kind of having some interference issues right here. I had to bend this out of here and I got to bend it back over and kind of, you know, lined up with the starter. A little bit of work with a hammer and with a ratchet strap. I got them moved over and passed right by the starter for the heater lines, the coolant lines. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. Next thing I think I'm going to work on is this throttle cable. So you can see the bracket for the throttle cable has it, you know, to end right about here area, and I actually need it way up here. And so I drew a line on this firewall. I need to move this bracket higher and, you know, further towards the starter. So I'm going to go ahead and probably remove this one and weld on another piece to the bottom. But first we'll do a couple templates and make sure it's fitting nice, and we'll have a nice throttle setup. Here's a quick little template I whipped up. That's how it's going to sit, something like that. I'm going to go ahead and trim this corner off where I marked it right here, and so I can get a better idea and finish up on the template and how exactly where I'm going to put the hole and all that kind of thing. So yeah, let's trim that up real quick. Alright, I took it from the cardboard template, laid it over a piece of metal, and this is what I came out with. So if it'll focus, yeah, got all the edges nice and smooth hit with the grinder. And now we are going to weld it onto this guy right there. And I'll show you the end result. I don't know if you could tell on video, but I had my welder cranked up to the absolute highest setting, so man, that thing's glued on there for good, but the welds aren't that pretty. But who cares, throw some black paint on it and throw it in. And here it is all painted up. This right here is the stock Subaru cable, throttle cable, and I'm going to mount it up to this one, which is the stock Volkswagen one. There's that new bracket I made sitting in there nice and pretty and in exactly the right spot, so pretty stoked on the way that turned out. I'm going to use the, what do they call it, a cable nut, if I can find it somewhere over in this mess. I don't know, I have a cable nut somewhere from the old Volkswagen throttle cable that I'll use to connect both of them together. We'll see how that goes. It's looking like I'm gonna have to trim down the end of this throttle cable for the Volkswagen side, because the thickness of the Subaru throttle cable plus that big thickness of the Volkswagen is not letting this barrel nut go on, because the barrel nut's hole's not big enough. Maybe I could drill this out, but there's not much meat on either sides of it, if you guys can see that. A little focus. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just, with this flap disc, trim this down a little bit, and hopefully it's still strong. Just shave off the top layer of it, I don't know, we'll see. Alright, I got them both attached. Got a little bit of heat shrink on the end of this Subaru throttle cable. This whole setup idea is stolen from Busteroo. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try right now. Okay, so it appears to work, but the throttle doesn't come up quite as quickly as I'd want it to. After you push it, it kind of comes up slowly. And I checked back here, and this is pretty snappy feeling, so I don't think it's back here. I think it's in the cable, and maybe it has to do with this angle right here, because you know, the old setup, you know, the throttle cable is pretty much flat with the motor, and now this one has to be like arced up a little bit. So maybe I'll try putting a little bit of a bend into this bracket, but I also don't want to bend the throttle tube. So maybe let's do a slight gradual bend on this, and it'll help out a little bit. Let's check it out. You know, it's crazy, this fuel line that I already had on here from the Volkswagen engine just so happened to be the perfect length for the Subaru motor, so I didn't have to change that line at all. The return line is right over here, and it's coming into right there. I went ahead and lengthened that one maybe an inch. I could have got away with using just this one that was already on there from the Volkswagen, but I wanted it to be a little extra clean, and I wanted to route it behind some stuff, so I went ahead and cut a new line for that. And then this is one that goes to your charcoal canister, I believe, which I got back there. But yeah, so this is where your return line normally is, but I watched Buster and he said you can just tap in right here, and so that's what I did. I'm working on coolant lines now. As you can see, I got a couple ran already, and test fitting some stuff with the water bottles, or the overflow, and the main fill tank. But I gotta put the heat shield in to know where I'm gonna run this line that goes from here all the way to the tank, and then all the way to that connection right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the original stock Volkswagen heat shield. It was off of this 1.9 right here, and that's the line I'm gonna cut right here. Yeah, so normally it'd be like this in your engine bay. If you're looking at it from the back, it's mounted like that. But yeah, I gotta make that chop to it so it'll fit, and then we can start doing all the water lines, and I'll show you exactly how I'm gonna do all the water lines. I can't find a good way to mount this. I know Buster, he mounts this over here, but I think with my, I don't know, I can't remember if it's a small car or Rocky Mountain. I think it's Rocky Mountain. With my Rocky Mountain or Van Cafe front heat shield, it does not want to mount up nice, so I'm gonna make a custom bracket for that. But the cool thing is I basically have all my cooling done except for the heater hoses. Well, I have it all figured out in my mind. So the bottom hose, which goes from the bottom of the engine right here, up and then to right here, was super simple because luckily I save a lot of like scrap radiator hoses. These are all Volkswagen ones from vans and stuff, and so it made it really easy because I had a bunch of extra pieces. I don't know what this piece is from right here. I honestly think it was just like a random universal one that I probably took out of a car or something like that, or I don't know. But it makes the perfect shape, and then I just have one connector right there in the middle behind the head, if you guys can see that, to connect it to go right here, and I'll wrap a piece of extra piping around that to protect it, but that one's all good to go. This one, you see, you make a little 90 out of here, and then I'm gonna put some like a 2-inch PVC pipe along here and mount it to this, and so this will be safe. And then I'm gonna go into a turn. This is all not gonna be here. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But this is a universal piece, 1.5 inch universal, to make this super tight bend right here, and then from here to this turn, imagine this stuff's not here. I'm making a custom piece out of 1.5 inch galvanized, and so I'll show you how I'm doing that. I had to put a 90-degree turn on it because the way it's situated. So this is what I got going on. I got it in my tube bender, as you can see, 1.5 inch, and it is bent to 90 degrees because the tank right there that I need to go into only has an 1 inch outlet, and so I'm gonna have to drill a hole, and I'm gonna weld this piece on right here, this piece of 1 inch, and so that will go into this right here. Boom. So I'll have a nice little custom piece right here, and it'll clean up everything and it won't have as many connections going on that way. So here's the setup now. Cleaned it up quite a bit. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to weld this nut right here, this bolt I mean, and I have a little hole right here in the heat shield, and then I'm going to put a nut on both sides of that, and then it'll be firmly mounted. This thing will be firmly mounted so it won't rattle against this heat shield. And I'm also going to move this water tank. It used to sit over here originally. I saw Buster put it over here. I'm going to mount mine up here, but I need to take 2 inches out of it, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that area right there and re-weld it back together, and it should be all good. This is pre-weld. That's how short it's going to be now. Welding galvanized is pretty toxic, but it came out really good, so stoked on it. Let's see if the bottle fits back in it. So the tank fits in perfectly. So now I have plenty of clearance from the deck lid. Before this would have been up, up here, and I couldn't close the deck lid. But yeah, check it out. It fits nice and sleek in there. And so we're chilling. I went ahead and shaved down this a little bit right there, but yeah, as far as fitment goes, it's gonna fit great. I'm gonna make some plate, obviously, to hold this on right here, some way to bolt it down. Maybe I'll weld on a tab or something, but honestly, this setup's gonna be the best. Like I said, I'm gonna weld that on right there to keep it all secure, that's secure, and then yeah, everything is good to go. But that's where I'm gonna wrap it up for today's video. In the next video, I'll probably tackle those heater lines. I'll show you this all bolted in and all that stuff. And I might start on the exhaust. I don't know if I said this before, but I am building my own exhaust. There's a bunch of Subaru slash Volkswagen exhaust parts right there, so I'm gonna use that stuff and piece something together. I'm also going to do a custom little box over here for my air intake. As you can see, I started messing with it already. Here's just a coupler I got off Amazon, and I shortened it. Like, I took two big slivers out of it, probably, I don't know, 2 inches out of it. So it fits on right here, and I got a little bend in it right here. Also got some aluminum pipe, so probably do something like this. And then I'm thinking about building like a plate that this will bolt onto, and then the air cleaner, which is like a cone style, want to be on the other side, so it'll be completely closed off from the hot side of the engine, and hopefully the air will just come straight through here and down through this little way and into the intake, and it'll get some clean air instead of just getting air from down here. So the synchro always gets dirt from right here because there's nothing to, you know, block it off when you're off-roading or whatever, and that thing gets dirty after every trip, so I always have to be cleaning it. Also, I'll do an update on the synchro. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more car content.